Alright everyone, this is a follow-up video at the request of Tone Dog. Not quite sure how to pronounce your name, man, but he had asked about the augmentation that I did to the 511 TacTec plate carrier. So I'm going to show you a little bit more in depth here real quick in a somewhat short, concise video about how to do those changes and things like that. So, as you can see, I got some of those components I was waiting on. Got a dump bag, drink holder, and all that, which these worked great out in the field when I was at Winter Forge, Winter Warfare course. So, as you can see inside so you got the front of the vest. As you can see here, this is where that pull handle is normally. And, so on the inside, it would pull handle, and then it would feed over. And I've got this all taped down right now and tied off. But so the pull handle, the cables would come and feed over and through these eyelets that you can see in the strap here. Okay, because it's the two sections of the plate carrier are separate from each other, the front and the back. And the shoulder straps and the cummerbund are what hold it all together, basically. So when you would pull that handle and those cords, they would pull through, and then it would separate. The sections of the cummerbund would come apart, and the whole thing would fall apart on itself. And I had explained in the first video that you don't want that to happen for a lot of practical reasons when you're out in the field and in actual combat situations, outside of some of the quick stuff that law enforcement does and all that. But even then, you don't really want that happening. So what you do is you nix the handle and that cable system that feeds through these eyelets all the way down down these sides here and then into the back. Back down into the bottom here, and they just sit kind of in these open slots after feeding through the eyelets back down here that hold the cummerbund on and into these eyelet slots, and they just sat there. They didn't actually like fasten anything to be secure. So with the cummerbund, I took an extra molly strap, just wove it through the two sections of the cummerbund to itself, secured that, and I've got that taped. And I took 550 cord, and you see these eyelets here that the cable would normally feed through that runs through the whole system. You take 550 cord and you're running it through those eyelets and weaving it through the cummerbund strapping, and then tying it off to itself, lashing it, knotting it good, and then I secure it all with tape. So I did that on both sides. So there's, as corrected from the first video, 4 points of connection with these eyelets to the cummerbund to the plate carrier. So 1, 2, 3, 4 eyelets. So you've got the cummerbund fastened in 4 points to the carrier, and then the cummerbund additionally fastened to itself with a good strength nylon molly strap and some tape, and you just have it all secured. And that's not coming apart. That's not going to come apart on you. You should only want it to undo itself in the front when you're meaning to put it on and take it off. So if hopefully that makes some more sense to you guys in that regard for the back, and how it's kind of weaving in and out of itself and through each other and the eyelets and everything to fasten it to the carrier and then to itself. Close that up real quick. So back to the strapping here on the shoulder. So what you're doing, and there's a video by 511 out there. I forget who the host was that demonstrates it, not Jack Carr. I can't remember who it is exactly, but he shows how to feed the cable through the eyelets for both shoulder straps, and you can kind of see it here. You've got these eyelets that run all the way through on both the straps, and it just feeds through those. So you basically feed through one and under one on the top, and then through one on the top, over another one on the bottom, and then back and forth, and it looks like that. So you're securing the shoulder strap underneath to this with the cordage. These eyelets poking through here, these are the underneath ones, and then you're feeding it kind of over and through ones on the top, kind of alternating, if that makes sense. It's a fairly simple process as far as that goes. It just takes a little bit of time. So you're feeding it through, and you can kind of see it here, through a bottom eyelet. So I've run it through a top one already, secured it through the bottom, and then over, through the bottom, over, through the bottom, over, all the way back and down. And then I feed it through this eyelet for this pull handle here, this emergency pull handle, which is actually really nice and effective. That's also one of the eyelets that the cable would run through and feed down through these here. So I feed it through that, you know, after I've done all the securing for it to itself, and make sure you're sizing it properly. I've got a little extra here because, you know, I'm not that big of a guy, so, you know, I needed to tighten up some of that slack. So I got it set to how I need it and secured through the eyelets and everything. Fed it through this back eyelet, went back, knotted it, and then I've got it super secured with 100 mile an hour tape. And I did that in the front as well. I don't need to feed anything through over here to the front. I'm just starting with the feed here, getting the straps, shoulder pads, shoulder straps secured to each other, and through the eyelets all the way back. You know, alternating it, and then through that, knotting it, taping it, and then I've got it knotted and taped really well up here too. And I was just at Winter Forge with S&S Training Solutions down in Ullman, Missouri. It was very wet and cold, and guess what? Tape held up no problem, especially, you know, because it's covered too. And this camouflage worked really well down there too. The S&S guys really liked it. They were very impressed with it. And I enjoyed it as well. It worked very well for me. So, but yeah, and it just feeds through. That 100 mile an hour tape being green, that helps blend in as well. It's not nearly as shiny as that black cable that this comes with initially when you buy it and everything, because that's like, it's just super shiny for some reason, whatever coating they have on there, and you can just see it how it feeds through, and then it's all hanging out loosey-goosey and weird on the front and the back, and snags on shit and everything. So you ditch that. You're securing the shoulder pads just like you would with that cable that it comes with, but with 550 cord, bringing it around, bringing it through, feeding it, knotting it, securing it, and doing all that, and then securing it further with how it closes on itself and everything. So instead of having a single handle and those silly cables that run all the way through and secure everything, you've got multiple different sections independent from each other that secure and keep the entire system together. It's a nice system. It's streamlined, it's sleek. That is the one big problem with this plate carrier, is that cable system and that pull handle, apart from the sectional cummerbund. Now, you could replace this cummerbund. You could just order another single piece or cummerbund that ties to itself in the back and then secures and everything. You could do that too, but this way works just as well. It's a fairly quick and kind of ad hoc fix, but it works. And it's really easy to do. You just need some 550 cord and some good tape. That's really all you need to do, and a molly strap if you don't want to spend money to get a different cummerbund. So that's really all you need to do. If that makes a little bit more sense, and it doesn't take that long to do. I think just fixing all that stuff took me maybe 30 minutes at the most. Just apart from, you know, feeding and making sure everything was fitting and sized correctly, it was just all the threading and then the knotting and the taping. That's all it is. So it just takes a little bit of time, very minimal amount of money. You just have good products to replace that metal core cable system that comes with this. There's something to replace it. So 550 cord, a good molly strap, and some good tape. That's really all you need. So hopefully that makes a little bit more sense to you. Tone Dog, however you pronounce your screen name. Thanks for the request and the question. Hopefully that answered your question a little bit. So yeah, it's you're minimizing that issue with this piece of equipment, and I think it works better in the end that way. So by doing this, so yeah, you guys enjoy the plate carrier system. It works great. It worked very well for me out in the field, and I still field it for a bunch of other stuff. So yeah, there you go. Hope that helps. Take care.